Well, here it is, guys. 3 years ago, we started, I started with just a regular average teenage kid, no intention of taking this seriously, just being a stupid teenager like every stupid teenager does. And 3 years later, we're here. I never thought that we would ever reach this point. I never thought I would get past 10 subs, and I was happy with one subscriber. I never looked for fame and success. I did this because I wanted to do it for fun. And 3 years later, with a couple of name changes and a little tune up and a little bit of learning, we're here. Almost 3 years later, we're here. We're at 2,000 subs, and we're not going to stop. That brings us to tonight's episode of a celebration, but most of all, just to have fun. And tonight is a night where I give back and I thank everyone for taking this journey with me. But most of all, tonight is a night that we celebrate. And that is where I come in. What is going on, everybody? Michael here from Technoid. Welcome back to another live stream. And as you saw, everybody, 2,000 subs. That sounds so good on the paper. Now, listen, a lot of you are probably saying, oh, that doesn't sound impressive. Oh, I can get 2,000 subs. To me, that's like a million subs, and I'm happy. I don't even care what happens now, but 2,000 subs is incredible. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would even hit 10 subscribers, let alone 100 subscribers. And here we are almost 3 years later, before the end of 2020, this terrible year, and now we're here. So I want to thank each and every single one of you watching tonight on replay, watching me from the start to now. Because there are very few of you that have seen me in my early channel, and I'll do that once we get to 10,000 subs, if we ever get there. But I want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my absolute heart, my absolute soul, from one creator to another to many more out there. Thank you for choosing to take your time, your dedication to subscribe to my channel. And thank you all so much. And it truly is an honor to entertain you guys. It is an honor to create videos. It is an honor to do so much for you guys. And you know what? Even if I don't get 100 views or not, I don't care. One view is more than enough. And I'm happy with it. And I'm happy that people can get some entertainment out of it, but I'm just going on and on. So thank you guys. Thank you as always. Now, tonight's episode, we're going to have a little fun. Since this is a celebration episode, we're obviously going to talk a little tech. Then I'm going to open the floor up to other YouTubers. But for the first 30, 45 minutes, I want to introduce you guys to a brand new YouTuber who was kind enough to join me on the ride to do tonight's stream with me. He is a brand new YouTuber. I see we've just started. We got 10 people in the stream. I'll do name call as he introduces himself. But everybody, I want to introduce you all. Before we start up, I want to introduce you guys to a YouTuber named Kimon. And Kimon, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Now, for some of you, you probably have not seen this person, but if you have, you've probably seen him in the SMT's comment section. You've probably seen him come at me a couple of times. Well, I'm here face to face, mofo. Now, you got something to say, you could say it to my face. But you've seen him in the comment section, and now he's starting up his channel. So what better way to give back on this night than to introduce you guys to a new YouTuber and help him on his journey just like you did for me. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to do roll call. But in the meantime, Kimon, the floor is yours. Why don't you take this time, introduce yourself, and let everybody know who you are.
All right, so my name is Kimon. I have a passion for tech. I'm a new to this YouTube thing. You can find me at KTJ Tech on YouTube. And yeah, I love cellular networks. I love consoles. I love PC. Basically anything tech that's not on the engineering side, I like. And if you ever need help, you could just DM me on Twitter. My DMs are always open, even if I don't follow you. And yeah, that's about it.
Oh, come on, Kimon. You got
Uh,
probably a little more to say. Come on, the floor is yours. Don't be shy. I'm literally giving you the chance to say whatever you want. Go ahead. I don't have any restrictions.
I'm very outspoken when it comes to certain topics. Um, oh, what's up, Sneed and Carlos? Nice to see you. Um, but yeah, there's not really much to know about me besides I like tech.
All right, that's fair. Well, a lot of people actually were looking forward to this. This is actually the first collaboration where a lot of people were saying, and mostly Sneed and Los and Tito, Aloha Android, they were like, this is the ultimate team up. They were like two young guys like me and you coming together to talk tech. They're like, what better collab is there? So let's I'm gonna risk the monetization. Let's turn this fucking house upside down. Let's
All
shake
right,
the roof.
sweet.
All right, so tonight's here's the lineup, guys. So for the first 30, 45 minutes, or however we finish, me and Kimon are going to discuss the Google event. We're going to discuss what happened on today's live stream from Google. Also, guys, if somebody could be kind enough to please leave a link to Kimon's channel. So if you guys have not subscribed, or if you want to look his name up, I'll put it in the live chat. But please, somebody get a link and leave it there, and I'll keep it up for the remainder of the video so you can go check his video out. And also, we got our first super chat, $5 from the SMT. Thank you. He's always leaving the trademark. Yeah. I think that's a new trademark now. I think we got to get a trademark on that.
Yeah,
I'm a trademark it first, and then he going to be paying me forever.
that's one way to do it.
And, all right, so I'm going to leave this up. Everybody go search him up, and if we get a link, I'll post that as well. But anyway, let's start it up. So, Google event.
Very short.
Very short, but I gotta say, it was
It
well
got
worth
to
it.
the point.
It did. Also, shout out Caleb. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate that, Caleb. Thank you so much. There, we'll go back to that. So yeah, I was a little shocked that it was pretty fast. I would say, Apple usually takes their time to kind of reveal, but this is kind of interesting event because this kind of shows a turning point, if I say so myself, a turning point for Google, but it also is like a turning point for where they're going. But before we discuss the turning point, before we discuss any of that, I just want to ask you the first question of the reaction. What was your favorite announcement product? And then we'll start with that. What did you like that they announced?
Probably the Nest Audio because I could care less about Pixel 5 and 4a. And the Google TV, it's nice, but I already have a smart TV.
All right, that's fair. Shout out to Carlos S. Tech. Thank you for the 1999 super chat. Appreciate it, brother. Aloha Android is in the house.
What's up, Tito?
Nah, but yes, I agree. That to me was a very good unveiling that they did. Now I'm gonna just say this right now. This is the first ever tech event where I actually got my predictions right from months and months in advance. I went back to a video that I did 5 months ago before this event, and I checked my predictions. I said the 4A 5G, the Pixel 5, the Nest speakers, and also I don't know if I mentioned the Chromecast because at that time the rumors weren't there, but I mentioned something around it. I literally 4 for 4. Let's go. So
Well, they
I'll take
leak
that as a win.
everything out, basically. People have
It's
their
not
hands
even
on the
Google, it's
stuff.
people. It's not even Google, it's people that do it. But I agree with you. I don't like the leaks. I hate it. Oh man, these guys are really going crazy with the super chats. Now we got $20 super chat. Thank you, the SMT. Appreciate that. Look at that. You've got a brand new sub from Kathy. Thank you for subbing to him, Kathy. Sean, thank you. We got Kaisi in the house. Damn. And see, look, Andrew, he's already saying the dynamic Dumo.
I 100% agree.
Well, let's get to it. So let's discuss the Nest Audio. Now, I'm not too crazy about the naming Nest Audio. And if I want to just show real quick, if you take a look at the Nest lineup, I don't know if they'll show you here, but if we take a look quickly at their lineup of Nest products, I feel like the naming, just the naming, I'm not talking about the product, but the naming doesn't feel, I don't know, maybe it's different for you, but for me, I feel like it's not really there. Like, take a look. So you got
It
Nest
reminds
Audio.
me of the Chromecast Audio. When they first announced that name, I thought it was similar to that.
I was thinking that, but then you see here, you got Nest Mini, Chromecast, and Nest Hub Max, the Nest Wi-Fi. See, those names go well because, they do what they're advertised. But the Nest Audio, I'm saying to myself, but you have another audio product in your lineup, the Nest Mini, and that doesn't need audio. And then soon the rumored Max version that they're coming out with, unless, of course, some people are saying this is the Max, but taking a look at the size, it doesn't really seem like a Max. But actually taking a deeper look into the speaker itself, I honestly got to say, I truly was shocked. at how well they pulled this release. I covered this leak. I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but I covered it when it was leaked. I described it. I thought it was really cool, but I had no idea of the technology that was going into this. So I'm gonna do something that I've never done before. While I shout out the next super sticker, I'm gonna let you describe the Nest Audio. Why don't you explain to the viewers what we saw, and then I'll let you describe your reaction, and also shout out the $20 super sticker, but I can't see it. So go ahead.
So I believe it's the next generation of a Google Home and a Google Home Max. I don't think this is going to be a Max version because they were talking about audio. They brought audio engineers, see how they like it, right? And it improves on bass and everything. So I think this is the new high-end speaker. And for $100, you can't go wrong. Because the Apple HomePod, that's an amazing speaker, but that's $300. So I think this is the speaker to get if you like music. And if you don't really care about that and you just want the Google Assistant, just get the Nest Mini.
All right, that's a fair point. Well, taking a look at it from my perspective, I'm going to say this is a very impressive product because of the internals. Now, I'm an audio guy. I love audio. I always like to look internally, but I know a lot of people don't. But taking a look at the internals, I don't know if you could see this, but if you guys don't know, they're using a 19 millimeter tweeter. That's a huge tweeter for a smart speaker. Most, the Apple HomePods they use 7 tweeters, but they're all in a beamform shape, and they're hardly 19 millimeters in depth. And I really kind of find it crazy that they're putting such a nice big tweeter to help distinguish the high end in there. And I really, really like the woofer that they have. Because if you take a look at the detail here in the breakdown, the microphone array is at the top. You've got your woofer and tweeter, your two-way drivers, which I think at this point, every smart speaker, except for like the minis, they should have woofer and tweeters. Because I feel like that's better than transducers and down-firing, I forgot the other name of the other substitutes. But regardless, I truly like the way that they're building this thing. I gotta see it to hear it. I don't know if I'm gonna review it, but I hear it is a much better improvement from the Google Home. Again, Google Assistant, like you said, and absolutely the price. That's another question I want to ask you. What did you think this was going to be priced at before they announced the price?
I was thinking close to the like 300 range because that's how much the Home Max was.
Really, 300
I was
bucks?
surprised that was 100.
Yeah, you're absolutely you hit a nice I honestly I thought it was gonna be like 150, 200. I didn't think 300. But yeah, that was a shocker when they announced it, and I don't know what they're doing room to room from there. But yeah, I was really, really shocked at the $300 price from the Max, and then going to $100 on the Nest Audio. I'm like, yeah, that's impressive. And I don't know what else to say, but I will say that this is a great upgrade. I think the clarity's there since you're rocking two-way drivers. And for $100, I wouldn't be surprised if it outperforms itself at that price point.
I think Google realizes that an expensive speaker won't like sell. That's why they also priced it at $100.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, they were pricing these things fairly cheap even beforehand, like the Google Home, the regular Home, and the Mini. Because if you're going to pull an Apple, at least make sure your speaker doesn't go over $350. Because the HomePod failed. Not because it's a bad speaker, not because it's terrible Siri. I mean, we could argue that, but really because
It's expensive.
it's expensive. Yeah. So I really like Google's approach on this. I like the color choices, by the way. Really digging that blue. I don't know which color you like. I'm gonna assume green because you're
They're
wearing green
all
right now.
they're all really nice. They did copy the iPad Air colors, so I've noticed that.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that. I'm not even being biased. I'm watching it from just a personal perspective. But yeah, you could pre-order it. It says here you save $20 when you buy two. So if you want to group them, you can get them for 180. That's a good saving. And they come in charcoal, chalk, sage, sand, and sky. But in reality, it's light blue, maybe pink or orange. I don't know. I think that's like a light pink, green, mint green. You got your black and white. I don't know why they come up with such weird names for colors. Jesus. But that was the Nest Audio. Next up, the Chromecast with Google TV. Now, this one, I'll start this one, and then I'll let you go. So this is one I personally have covered. I've taken my time to research this one from the marketing images to the retail images, from the early leaks, from the FCC clearings. I have covered this particular item for a reason, and I honestly, I'm not disappointed. Google did not disappoint with this one. But what shocks me even more is that it really is that good, and it's truly a big, big competitor now to Amazon and Apple, and I'll explain why. So Google TV, this is Chromecast with Google TV. Basically, it's Android TV with a little bit of Google skin in there. Now, for those of you that don't know, they used Chromecast in the past, but now they're switching it up to Android TV, so it's a better OS. I've used it a couple of times myself, and it is really, really good. It runs in 4K HDR, so you can get HDR 10 and 10 plus. You get Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos support. On top of that, you get a lot of in-house features if you're an Android user, should you use this. And the price, which is the reason why I say it's going to be a very big competitor, excuse me, is $49.99. Now, let me explain why that's a big, big thing. Now, of course, it comes in 3 different colors. You've got white, again, that's that pink or whatever color, and then sky blue. But for some reason, I don't really understand why they did that, because it's going to be in the back of the TV, so I never cared about color. But I can see, give them a little bit of choice. But the reason that I said this was going to be a big thing, Kimon, is because if you look at Amazon, Amazon just came out with brand new Fire Sticks. I don't know if you know, but they came out with their whole new release of products, from Echo to Fire Stick and stuff. And the newest one they have, the 2020 release, is $39.99. Now, you're probably saying that's pretty cheap. However, though, that's only in HD. That's not 4K. It does support all that, but it's only going to be for HD. And the 4K Fire Stick itself, right now it's currently at a price reduction, but original retail price, I wish I could pull it up, but when I bought it, it was like $60, $80. So they kind of reduced the price after the Google event. So that's why I'm saying this is a big competitor to Amazon, because Amazon, and I don't know what you use, and I've spoken a lot on this, so I'm gonna let you have the floor. But this is gonna be a big, ground for Google to not only grab market share on the TV area, but it's also going to be a very good selling device for $50. And that's all I'll say on that. Go ahead.
So I could see where Google's trying to go with this, right? Because if we look at previous Chromecasts, they would overheat for applications such as Stadia, right? And a big problem people had was it didn't have a remote. You had to use your phone. They fixed that. They have a remote. Google TV is arguably better than Android TV. And $50, you can't go wrong for $50. But I think if you have like a smart TV, maybe hold off on this unless you really want it to a Google fan or something.
Yeah, I can see what you mean, because most TVs nowadays come built in, like with Roku or Android TV itself. One of the most popular brands is TCL. I'm currently a user, but I don't ever want to use Roku. Like, come on, who uses Roku? Come on.
TCL is great value.
It's great
Best
value
in TVs.
It is great displays, great picture quality, and that's LED LCDs. So that's 2 technologies combined into one to give you really good colors. And most of all, if you get the Series 6, which I have, you get Dolby Vision. So it's excellent. But they just recently... Oh, go ahead.
I do have a problem with the Google TV.
All right, let me hear it.
It comes in multiple colors, right? And it sits behind your TV. But the Pixel 4a only comes in black. And you carry that phone around every day. So why wouldn't they create different colors for the 4a? But for this, that's just doesn't make sense.
I agree. We'll get to that in just a second. But I'm with you. I don't understand why they decided to release colors for a streaming device that ultimately is going to be in the back. Like, is anyone ever going to go in the back of TV and say, "Oh my God, I must have that color. It's so awesome"? Like, nobody ever goes behind a TV. Like, come on. Like, it's like saying you create a color for for a pair of socks, and 3/4 of the time you're not even going to see the socks. So like, just get black or white. Unbelievable. But yeah, for $50 though, yeah, you cannot go wrong. This was truly a good, in my opinion, a good selling point for Google, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to compete. Because imagine if that thing goes on sale for like $20. That's a 4K device for $20 if it ever goes on sale to that low. So yeah, I was definitely excited. Now we get to the main stars of the show, the two devices that everybody really didn't talk about, actually, surprisingly. We'll start with the 4A 5G. But yes, as you said, it only comes in, I don't know why I did that. It only comes in one color. You said black, but essentially it's a updated version of the 4A. I don't really have to go into detail here. Ultimately, it's the same build quality, same display, same technology. The only difference is we have a second camera on the back, and it has 5G. Maybe a bigger battery life. I got to look at it when we scroll down. But
A slightly faster processor as well.
and a slightly faster processor. So I'm gonna let you take the floor while I scroll down and you discuss what you thought of it.
So the 4A 5G, I still don't think it's the phone most people should buy, and here's why. So for $150 over the 4A, you're getting a bigger battery, bigger display, and 5G, right? But that 5G is sub 6 gigahertz, and really, it's not that good compared to millimeter wave, and it's plastic, right? So you might as well save the 150, go with the 4A, and if you want a millimeter wave device, the 4A 5G at Verizon is $599. Yeah, at that point, why not spend the extra 100 for the 5, right? And that's all I have to say about the 4A 5G.
All right. Well, this is where I'm gonna come in. We're probably gonna have a debate, which I'm happy with, but I disagree. And I don't disagree that you're wrong. You're entitled to your opinion. I respect it and I see where you're coming from, but I'm gonna explain why you're wrong. So first of all, that's the first reason. Verizon's gonna have their own for $599. Now, at first you're saying, okay, you can spend the extra 100, get the Pixel 5. And I agree. I won't argue that point. But everything else, I'm going to explain. So, for starters, the Pixel 4a, I've used it, and I can tell you that phone is only good for a year because the modem in there, the 670 or the 730, forgot which, or the chipset, and then the modem, I forgot which one it was, but it's in my review. It is only built to handle the maximum capacity of LTE for this year alone. And the problem with that is by next year, 5G is fully going to be probably, I'm going to say, at that point, it's probably going to be better than what we're at here. So for wanting to spend the extra $150, think about also the value. You're given a second camera. You're getting better picture quality should you go the $499 route. Now you argue the plastic back. Now I personally I don't care about a phone back. I use whatever because most of the time we're gonna put a case on it. But think about it. If you drop that phone, chances are it'll probably get a little scratch, but it won't shatter versus glass. And most of the time you're gonna have a phone case. You're probably just gonna put it in a case and nobody's gonna care. And the last reason why I disagree is because for me, the extra $150 is well spent because you're getting more value. On the device itself is giving you the performance of the Pixel 5, but even though it's holding back a few things, it's not necessarily too off par. It's using the same same chip, the 765G. It just has a little bit less RAM, a less refresh rate, but ultimately same camera performance, same overall performance with Android. That's stock Android. You get 3 years of updates plus an extra fourth year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's about the same on par with the Pixel 5. Now, again, there are a few differences, but overall, if I had to recommend, I would say the 4A with 5G because it's much cheaper. It's $200 less. If you said sub 6, but for right now, you could hardly find millimeter wave. At least if you live in current areas. If you're in Manhattan or someplace, yes. But if you're in an area like where I'm at, Staten Island, sub 6 is really what T-Mobile supposedly and all these other companies are going to be expanding. Millimeter wave is only good for up to a certain distance. You got to be really close because then after it'll expand to sub 6. So it's not a bad choice to go with sub 6 over millimeter, even though it does degrade the performance. You're still going to get 5G speeds regardless. So that's just my opinion. And you're feel free to disagree or agree with it you like.
I think I agree with you in a lot of areas. You are getting more for the additional price, but the OnePlus 8T is rumored to start at $599, and that's $100 more than a 4A 5G. And you're getting flagship specs, a high refresh rate, more RAM, and better build quality. So I think a lot of people should go with the OnePlus 8T.
Well, we can't really judge it until we see it. I mean, I'm gonna hold off on judging the OnePlus 8T till I see it, but I've heard that it's ultimately going back to form, basically the cheaper OnePlus. And the only reason why I can't say anything is because this is kind of one of those instances where they've kind of hush a little bit. The specs aren't too broadcast out there, and also probably in a week or so we're gonna find out anyway. But I'm gonna hold my judgment on that till we get to that phone. But I do know it's going back to form, and they're making a big whoop about 65-watt super fast charging that they have, the warp charge. So we're gonna wait and see. But you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. You're not wrong in anything you've said. And yeah, I think for me anyway, though, final words that I'll say, I'm comfortably fine with the 4A 5G for most people because not a lot of people are going to be tech savvy like me and you. They just want a device that works. They just want a device that'll not break the bank, but it'll give you something. Now, of course, taking a look at the breakdown here, we'll get to the Pixel 5 in a sec. You can see there is slightly different, but take a look at this. It's literally a few inches or a few inches bigger than the Pixel 5. But of course, there is a different reason. Same rear camera, and in terms of RAM, well, 2 gigabytes more. I mean, you could use a little more with the 2 gigabytes to get a little bit better performance boost, but ultimately, it's on par. So I wouldn't be against anybody that bought it. And if you decide to keep it for the 3 years, it'll be fine. I think so anyway. All right, now we get to the Pixel 5. Now this is the one that I was really kind of thinking to myself, Google was going to make a little bit more of a whoop, but they really didn't do much. They really didn't push this phone as much as I thought. And I'm going to tell you a funny story after we're done with this, but I'm going to let you start it up again. I'll let you take the floor. You discuss what you think, and then we'll go from there.
I think the Pixel 5 is the best Pixel yet. Well, it's on par with the Pixel 4, depending on what feature set you're looking for, right? And I love that it has bilateral wireless charging. And many might be saying it's aluminum, so how would they do that? Well, there's a plastic cutout underneath, um, allowing for wireless charging, but you don't notice that because it's all covered up. And yeah, it's the best Pixel unless you want facial recognition, that hand motion thingy that the Pixel 4 had. And honestly, I think $699 is a great price for it.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I got no counter, nothing. That's on par. This is by far probably the best Pixel we've ever seen Google make, and I'm going to tell you, it's not even, believe it or not, it's not even a flagship. It's just before a flagship.
Yeah, it has a 7 series processor, but the Pixel experience skin is so well optimized that I think you're not going to notice it unless you're gaming. But how often do people game on their smartphones like Fortnite? They play Candy Crush most of the time.
Yeah, and most people I know don't even play. They don't even pay or play on their phone. They mostly just play on a PC or something. But nah, this phone truly is the best that I think we've seen. It's not only an idea because this is Google basically saying, and remember when I earlier said that they're tweaking and tuning? What that means, what I meant was they've realized that they're not a flagship maker. They can't compete with Samsung or Apple.
Well, they don't
Take a
sell
look at
well.
they don't sell well, and most of all, they're just behind, regardless of even if they get as far with technology. Take a look at the Pixel 2 and 2 XL. That was plagued with OLED display issues from the start. But by that point, wireless charging was adapted. A lot of people were using it. And even though it was a stock Android experience, the Pixel 2 XL mostly had a lot of issues. Then you get to the Pixel 3, you got facial recognition, and the Pixel 3 probably was a good phone, but the Pixel 3 XL was a disaster. That was a terrible phone. That notch was hideous. Then you get to the Pixel 4. Okay, Project Scalia seems okay, but nobody used it. And if anybody did use it, it was probably the 2%. And then the 4XL was actually a pretty good phone, but it still felt behind. Now we get the Pixel 5, and finally they've done it right. And the reason they did it right was because they're like, you know what? We get it. We're not like a flagship killer. We're not a flagship maker like Apple or Samsung where we put super premium OLED displays, or we're going to do facial recognition. You know what? We're going to take what made us popular. We're going to take what has worked for us, and we're just going to expand on it. And that started with the 3A and now the 4A. Because if you remember, the 3A sold like crazy. The 3A was the best mid-range Android, and that was the one that got them to this point. So I think they realized we got to step back from being a flagship, and let's just make a device that the other people can do. Now, a lot of people say the iPhone XR was the starting point. You could argue that, but I think the 3A was truly where it really came into blossom for Google. And I don't know what you think. Maybe you think something different, but I'm going to say, if it were not for the Pixel 3a, this phone probably would not be as good as we probably say it is.
I agree with you there. The 3A sold really well compared to the 3.
And Google has the best, in my opinion, the best camera on a smartphone. You could argue with me about Samsung, but come on. After 2 years, the Samsung camera is turning white and hazy in the front, and the rear is okay. But on a Google, that thing is still great.
For still pictures, at least. For video, it's a different story. I think
Yeah,
iPhone has the best video.
yeah, I won't argue that. I'll give you that. So yeah, that is the Pixel event. So now, before I open up the floor and I send out the link to anyone that wants to join, what are your final thoughts on this event?
I thought it was a great event. It's not as fun as the Apple event, but it got to the point. It wasn't full of fluff, and they had really good products there that I think a lot of people would buy.
All right, that's fair. Anything else? Any other side stuff before I go?
No, I don't think so. That's about it.
All right. Well, I'll finish it up from here, and now we're gonna open the floor. So I just sent out the link. So anybody that wants to come on, you are more than welcome to join. But I'm gonna say this: this was a good event. It was quick, straight to the point. It didn't bore you, for me anyway. And most of all, it did its job. I feel like this was a great event on every level, not just because of what it had, but just based on how it how it performed. This event to me shows the changing of Google, like less premium, less expensive, and more consumer friendly. And most of all, it does the job well. And I'm really satisfied with Google in this event. This is the first time I feel like Google has nailed a release or an event, because the last few events I was like, oh Jesus. But that's the event. And yeah. Honestly, yeah, that was a good event. All right, so now that we've reached the 30-minute mark and the stream will be done in about an hour, now it's time to open up the floor, and it is time to allow people to come on. I've already sent the link out on Twitter to those that want to join. I will be posting the link here in the live chat, so should you want to join, you are more than welcome to come on. But while we open the floor, let's discuss a few more things, side stories, Kimon. Let's switch over to Apple real quick. Now, I don't know, are you an Apple fan or are you a Google
I
fan?
love Apple.
You love Apple. Okay. I like that. All right. So let's discuss Apple's supposedly October event. So as you know, there's a lot of rumors going around from John Prosser. There's a lot of rumors going around from Ming Chi Kuo. There's so many stories of things happening and people saying this and that's going to happen. And as reliable as John is, and I don't deny him or doubt him at all, it's getting really hard to track because at one point he's saying something, he's not wrong, but then another person says something, and then another person says something, and another, and another, and another, and it's just all over the place. But taking a look at the October event, I already discussed what I thought was going to be in it. I don't know anymore. We already kind of know now what's going to be in. But I want to take a moment to discuss one product that a lot of people are making a lot of buzz about, the AirTags. So for some reason, a lot of people are really hyping up AirTags. They're really saying that this is going to be the one that like competes with Tidal. I don't know what it is.
Tile.
Tidal. Thank you. Yes. So I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on AirTag, and where do you see it fitting in terms of like competition?
I think AirTags is actually going to sell a lot more than Tile did. And here's why. Because it's Apple, first of all. Everything Apple puts their name on, people are going to buy. And it doesn't need a connection to the internet to be able to track it. Since there's so many Apple devices out there, it'll be able to connect to those Apple devices, connect that to the internet, and then you're able to trace that back to your iPhone. And I think when Apple does something like this, they do it right and they do it best, and I think it'll sell well. But
Oh, man.
pricing, yeah, it
Sorry,
depends.
I was
It
talking to
depends
myself.
what the price is.
Yeah, and also how many AirTags are you going to get in a box or something like that? Um, the one thing that I really find interesting about the AirTags is they're utilizing ultra wideband by the U1 chip, but also linking it to 5G as well, which is something that's really cool. We talk about millimeter wave and sub 6, but Apple's making the smarter route of using ultra wideband in not just their chips, but also in the future iPhones to help this thing with distance. So you don't have to be restricted should you go in another country, or hell, if you're like 3 floors down or something like that. So I really like the fact that AirTag is utilizing 5G technology, sort of.
About that though, by ultra wideband, the U1 chip, that's not the same thing as Verizon ultra wideband.
No, no,
It's
I know, but I'm
yeah,
just saying,
all
like,
right.
they're utilizing it in the modem set. They're going to be using the X55 modem or the Qualcomm modem, so they're going to try to link those together from what it seems. I don't know about millimeter wave. I don't know exactly
That would
where to
be
go from there.
expensive.
Yeah, I think that would jack up the price. But how many AirTags do you think they're going to sell? Meaning, like, if you were to go buy them in a store, like how many in a pack or
I think it makes sense to do a single pack because most companies do that, but I also think it makes sense to do a 4 pack at least, and maybe do an 8 pack or a 10 pack because a lot of companies they bundle their things together. If you buy in bulk, it tends to be cheaper.
yeah, absolutely. I agree. They should definitely offer a bundle, like they're doing with their whole bundle service, which I really like. Um, And also, Mr. Pixel, I'm so sorry. I really wish you could join me. I've been really wanting to see what you've been doing. Would love to hear from you, but it's okay. We got another live stream next week. And yes, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to be using the X60 modem. So that's the thing that they're differentiating with the iPhones. So the iPhone 12 and I believe the 12 Max will be using sub 6 5G. It won't support
Right.
millimeter wave, but the 12 Pro and the Pro Max will use millimeter wave, and that's going to jack up the price. But they're going to price it, 999 and that at 1099, so you don't have to worry too much. But the next thing I want to talk about in the October event, and I'm sure you're probably, I don't know what you're going to think of me when I say this, but HomePod audio. I'm going to
You
tell
think
everybody
there's
the
gonna be a
truth.
new? You think there's gonna be a new HomePod?
I want there to be, but I just don't know if Apple's going to do it because we've been saying this for about a year now, and they still haven't pushed it. It's been 2 years since the first HomePod came out. And also, by the way, guys, if you're watching this, the floor is open. I've already left the link in the chat, so definitely come on in if you want to come on the show. But I want to see another HomePod. I don't know why. I do because okay, I'm gonna say something right now, and you're probably gonna be like, "You idiot!" But I bought two HomePods. I bought
That's pretty
two.
good, actually. You can use
Well,
them in a stereo pair.
well, yes, I use them in a stereo pair, but I bought them when they were on sale at like 199. So I did good there. I didn't pay 350 or 399 or 299, whatever the price is, whatever. But I think why I would want to see another HomePod is because to me, Apple kind of messed up on their home ecosystem. They kept it closed ended, whereas with Google and Amazon, it's more open ended, so you're allowed third party accessories. But with the recent changes that Apple Home is going through, with now they're starting to open the floor up a little bit, make it a lot more easier for developers to access HomeKit. I want to see the HomePod take advantage of that opening third party because now they're allowing third party users to stream music on HomePod like Spotify, Amazon Music. But for me, I want to see a mini version. I want to see a smaller version, cheaper one, because then you got the regular HomePod and then a mini. Now, of course, knowing Apple and their pricing, I'm probably going to assume they'll make it like 149, unless of course they want to get it down to $99. But then they'll say, "Oh, we're countering the sound quality," because of course they want to, make sound quality
But
good.
there's another reason, because what Google Homes and Amazon Alexas, they actually use information for ads and stuff. Apple's not into that. So really you're paying for the hardware without any ads. So of course it's going to be more expensive regardless.
But on the
99
flip
at the
side,
lowest.
but on the flip side, they're using something called Carrier IQ, which nobody knows about. I don't know if you've heard of Carrier IQ. It's supposed so Carrier IQ is basically a way of developers like the people when we use our phones and our tablets, they see what we're looking up. They see it. But the thing is, it's all encrypted. So obviously nobody else can see it. And that's data supposedly isn't is stored anywhere. But carrier IQ not only limits is not limited to smartphones or tablets, but they also go for smart devices. So when you hear companies talk about, oh, we're taking your privacy in hand, they're bullcrapping you. Carrier IQ exists. If anybody doesn't know what carrier IQ is, I urge you to look it up. It's not limited to just smartphones. And I could hear you're looking it up now. So they're listening to our data, they're listening, but at the same time, they're more protective. That's the difference. They're more protective, they're encrypted. So not just anybody can hear them. So they can't figure out where it came from, who said what, or whatever. And of course, Carrier IQ is a little bit more different on Android than it is with Apple. So I think you're right on that, but you got to know about Carrier IQ so that way you don't believe that it's just all encrypted. Because I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just saying what I've learned and what I've found out. But taking a look quickly at the HomePod, and then we'll discuss the Airpod Studios and stuff. Because I wanted to give a little bit of dedication to Apple. Um, I think the HomePod Mini would be good. Again, it would link up. It would be a good speaker. It would definitely sell a lot better than the first HomePod. But most of all, if it allows you to be more customizable, I really wish they would open the HomePod to open Bluetooth. But of course, they want to keep it with Apple's ecosystem. But the move to third party is a step in the right direction. So I would definitely like to see, hopefully, the Mini take advantage of the changes that they're going through.
Yeah, I
Any
think
thoughts?
a mini would be good. I don't think it makes sense to make a more expensive one, obviously. Since the HomePod is a few years old, maybe they should cut that price down to like 199 and price a mini at like 149 or 99. I don't think it should go lower than 100 though.
I'm going to say 129. I think 129 should be the price point. And it's crazy to say that, but I think Apple could sell it at 129 because if you could do 150, again, it's still a little expensive compared to like an Echo Studio. Because the difference with the Echo Studio is it has Dolby Atmos. It's a lot bigger, obviously, so it's a lot more. But of course, again, like you said, Apple's got a little bit more in there. So we'll wait and see. Next up, Airpod Studios. Now, of course, I covered this. I showed the leaked image. A lot of people hated me for doing that, but I don't give a damn. But this was the image. So basically, they're basically going to be like AirPod headphones, but of course, better sound quality. Obviously, I'm praying, and it's supposed to be more functionally versus like design. So everybody was saying, "Oh, that design looks ugly." Well, according to John Prosser and a couple of leaks, and also to answer your question, CDR, does carrier IQ track information when the device is off? Yes, because even after you're done researching, they still get that information, but it's encrypted, like I said. But quickly talking about AirPod Studios, I'm looking forward to really the customization. I want to see how Apple does the whole customization with the ear cups. Will it be magnetic? Will it be like a clamp or like Apple Watch kind of? And honestly, I would even be crazy to say the sound quality because I really want to see how these things sound. I will definitely buy them and review them. But what do you think?
It's Apple, obviously. I think it'll be better than Beats because Beats are very bass heavy, unless you go with the Solo Pros. I think Apple realizes if they put AirPods on a product, it's gonna sell. And even though these aren't technically AirPods, they kind of are in a way. Functionality
Hmm.
wise, it's the best studio headphones you could buy, except for the Sony makes some nice ones. But I think
Yeah.
it'll probably be 349.
Yeah, I agree. $350 is not too far off for over-ear headphones. They're definitely going to be better than Beats. The reason why, because they're phasing out Beats. I hope you know. Like, not like sell the brand or get rid of the brand, but from the Apple store. They're not going to push Beats like they used to. They're going to have their own headphone lineup that they're going to do. So they're phasing Beats out. Beats will be its own thing.
Yeah, that makes
Also,
sense.
got a question. What are your guys' opinion on Raycon earbuds? Terrible, overhyped, and definitely not worth it.
I've never tried them, honestly.
I've had the dishonor of trying them. They sucked. And anyone that defends them, you have low standards for audio, my friend. Don't talk to me. But in all seriousness, I really am looking forward to the AirPod Studios. I hear that it doesn't matter what side you put them on, they'll automatically tell what side is which. So even if it's left and right, if you swap them, it'll automatically reconfigure. So I'm looking forward to that. It won't have any headphone jack. It definitely will not have a lightning port. It'll have USB-C, which is a good positive, by the way. But again, I still feel like for $350, if these are going to be audio driven headphones, especially in that price range, you should have a headphone jack. Even if people don't even use it, it should be for content creators. But again, you could argue these probably aren't content creator headphones. These are audio headphones for regular everyday people. But for me, again, I don't see no reason to remove a headphone jack from a headphone because it could save battery. You could sell the adapters. You can make money off the adapters. But also, it's one thing to remove it off the phone. It's another to remove them off headphones. I don't know what you think.
Well, Bluetooth, I believe it's good enough for most people. And since it's not on the phone, most of the people that buy these, they're going to use it with their iPhone. So even if it was compatible with a headphone jack, they wouldn't use it.
Well, the only counter I have to that is there are some people that still use the audio input, not just for battery, but when they just want a direct connection. Some people go as far as buying converters from 2.5 to USB-C with a high audio DAC, or some people, it's a small group of people, but that small group of people still exist, surprisingly. And the 4A gives you a headphone jack, so I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be jumping on that. But the only way that they can capitalize on the Bluetooth is the H1 chip or maybe a new chip that they're going to come out with. Because I think that definitely works in Apple's favor, but we'll have to see how it performs on Android.
I do like that they put their own silicon in their headphones. It
Hmm.
allows for that seamless integration with the whole Apple ecosystem.
Yeah, it's a good positive. And one thing I noticed about the headphones, they do have a similar HomePod kind of design where the mesh kind of reminds me of a HomePod mesh. The headband is nice. So we're gonna have to wait and see. It doesn't look like they're gonna use leather, which is of course they're trying to, be eco-friendly. So we'll see, save the animals. Use vegan leather. I'm just saying. But the last thing we'll do, and then we'll probably end it from here, because I only wanted to be on here for about an hour, because then people are going to join on the SMT's podcast, which I will direct you guys to after. The final story that we have, I'm going to pull it up here. The final story, we're going to shift over to Samsung. So you've heard of the S20 Fan Edition.
I have. It's a great device.
I don't know what to think of it because there's so many Galaxy devices now. And I see we have somebody behind the stage, so we're going to bring him in real quick. And it's Lawrence.
Yo,
How you doing?
What's up, Lawrence?
my only problem with the AirTags is, one, are they going to have a replaceable battery? Two, I use Tile, and you don't need internet to find your device within the range. The only time you're going to use the internet is if you mark it lost, and you need the community to help you find your lost device. I mean, I lost my keys because it fell off my waist, and I watched it track from American Savings Bank all the way to somebody's house, then back to American Savings. So if Apple does it right and they put a replaceable battery in it, because Tile didn't have a replaceable battery at first, now they do. It's going to make it more compelling because you have a larger resource than just depending on somebody. You hope somebody has that Tile app downloaded.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a good point. Because that was. Go ahead.
Go on. No, that's the biggest problem with Tile. You're relying on somebody else having a Tile with that. But within my area, when I pull up the Tile app, there is 1,400 members within my area. You go downtown Honolulu, there's 5,000 members. But the difference is how many iPhones are out there. You know what I mean? That's what's going to be the compelling offer. And if they price it right with a replaceable battery, a lot of people will migrate over to that. Especially if they're an iPhone user.
Because, that's fair.
Hold on. See?
Oh.
It just has no internet, right? I can still... You hear it?
Yep.
Because it's Bluetooth first, then internet after. You're only utilizing the internet if you mark it lost. So that when I lost my keys, I marked it lost. And then as soon as it hits another app, so you see you're walking next to my keys and you don't realize it's on the ground, but you have the Tile app. It's going to trigger a ping to your phone anonymously to the internet to my phone and locate it. So I've been like, I got lucky. Even the girl at American Savings, I goes, "Oh, I'm here for my keys." I goes, "Which?" Then I hit the find button, and my keys are ringing. And that's why I found out it was at American Savings, because I'm like tracking it in the area, and I found it. I got straight to the door of the bank, and it's like right there. So as soon as the next day the bank opened, I went in and said, "Hey, you guys have my keys." I love Tile.
Wow.
I love Tile for what it does, but Apple is gonna kill the game if they price it right and give a replaceable battery. But thank you for letting me on, dude.
No, you're more than welcome. And I see we got another person backstage, a good old pal of mine, Rakama. What up, brother?
Yo, what's up, Mike? What's up, crew? Hey, congrats on the 2,000 subs. I figure I'd come through and congratulate you.
Thank you, my man. Thank you. Everybody, if you don't know who this is, Alpha Rakama was one of the first YouTubers that I truly watched from the beginning. I found him when he did the Roku stereo speakers, and from there we did a collaboration video, and he's been a well-valued member from the Technoid Nation, and I'm glad to have you on tonight. What do you take from everything? I don't know how much you were listening. We were talking about AirTags, and then Lawrence was talking about replaceable batteries, the benefits of Tile. Then we started talking about the Pixel event and all that stuff. What did you think? Reaction or anything?
Man, you know, I didn't even get a chance to catch that Pixel event. I was at work, but I did catch the email that they sent me about the prices and the features of the Pixel 5. Like, I mean, it's cool. The Pixel 5 has the reverse wireless charging, aka wireless power charge, but I don't know. I'm still kind of torn because, and the only reason why I'm torn about the Pixel 5 is because the Nokia 8.3 exists. So I don't know if you've looked into that as well, but it's about the same price, and I think it offers. I might offer a little bit more. I might have to look back over the specs, but they got like a 64 megapixel camera on that thing, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, and I'm like, you know, what I'm saying, it depends. We have to have like a real life like comparison to see like which one really is better and which one's really worth the 700. I think if they had dropped the price down to like 650, I think the Pixel 5 would have been more appealing.
Well, that's a good thing you put, because our last story, and I want all of you to get your opinion on this, and we'll start with Kimon. I know you've been sitting there patiently, my man. I'm sorry, but we got the gang in tonight. We got the gang in now. But the final story is actually why I brought up the S20 FE. Now you got the Google Pixel 5 coming in on the market and the Galaxy S20 FE. So the question now is, what phone do you buy if you're a new consumer going on and you're like, okay, I see the FE edition, which to me still baffles me, but it's a phone. And then you got the Google Pixel 5, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna let you guys go. We're gonna start in order. We're gonna start with Kimon, then we're gonna start with Lawrence, then we'll start with Alpha, and then I'll finish it up. So Kimon, go ahead. What do you think?
So I think it depends on the type of consumer, right? Because each phone has their advantages. The Galaxy S20 FE is plastic, but it has flagship specs and a somewhat decent camera for video. Now the Pixel, it's aluminum, wireless charging. I'm not sure if the FE has wireless charging or not, but you're getting that better build quality, that better support. And sure, it has a 7 series processor, but I think most people should just buy a Pixel 5 instead of the S20 FE.
Lawrence, you're up next.
Well, it's real difficult for me because all my phones are iPhones. But if I had to say it this way, since I love doing speed tests and I love testing the networks, it's a little disappointing that they didn't put the 865 in it. At least the 865 doesn't have to be the plus. You know what I mean? For me. So I don't care about the construction. I don't care about the other stuff because Google optimizes their software so well that it's going to make the phone perform well. And I guess for me, since I love doing the network side, that's the only thing it's really missing.
All right, that's fair. And lastly up is Alpha. Go right ahead.
So I guess the biggest difference, I mean, just like what was just said before I spoke, Google's gonna optimize their OS. I mean, I'm a long time Google fan. Like, I'm not an OG like from the original Google phone that when HTC made that G1, but I picked up Google back when I think the Pixel 4 came out, not Pixel, but Nexus 4. I'm sorry, the Nexus 4 came out, and I've been a long time fan since then. And I know what Google's capable of doing because they've shown it to us in the past that their software is excellent. But spec for spec, I mean, you're comparing the 865 to the 765, so of course benchmarks are going to show that that the Samsung S20 obviously is going to win. You got flagship specs versus mid tier, but it doesn't. The thing is, nowadays we got to focus on the experience, and honestly, you're going to get a good experience out of both of them. And I think really what it's going to boil down to is like, what kind of flavor of Android do you like? Do you like Samsung or do you like stock Android? So for me personally, I'm torn because I'm still rocking this Note 20, Note 20 Ultra 5G. So
nice.
I'm really loving this experience. So I'm pretty close to maybe doing my review on it. I'm gonna do like a camera review, whatever, pretty soon. Ooh. I'm just loving this. It brought me back into like this Samsung atmosphere that it's taking me away from using my Google Pixel. You know what I'm saying? It's taking me away from using my iPhone. Like, I mean, when you look at the screen, you don't want to look at anything else. But I digress. The S20 has a 1080p display, but it is 120 hertz. So, like I said, it's really going to boil down to like what flavor Android that you like. You know what I'm saying? If you're like a diehard stock Android person, definitely go with the Android, definitely go with Google. You know what I'm saying, as far as the Pixel 5. But if you're a Samsung person, then go for the S20. But I believe I saw a video this past week about the S20 FE. Specifically, like, who was the target? I think MKBHD did a video saying, like, who was the target of this, because all the hardcore Samsung people already bought the flagship SE back earlier this year, and then now you have this phone, and it's kind of like, who was it for? But I think it'll still sell though, because of that price point. So it's like, these are probably the other people that don't want to spend $1,000 on a phone, but they still want a phone that is very capable. So I think there's a market for it. So that's kind of my 2 cents. I know that was a little long-winded, probably more than what you expected, but that's kind of
I think it's not. Hey, it's fine. We're almost done with the live stream, so it's good that we reached the hour mark. # 1 hour mark. But you guys all make very fair points. Especially you, Alpha. I'm so glad you joined in. Because you raise a lot of great points as well. So I'm gonna start with Kimon. You raise a good point when you discuss saying, it's really comes down to what you're looking for. Obviously, both devices are priced in the same ballpark, $699, but obviously there's going to be plus and minuses on both sides. In terms of Alpha, what you said, it comes down to the experience. I think that's really the main takeaway. Really, what are you going to pick versus what are you willing to give up? Because you could say that one's made out of plastic and one has aluminum or glass back, whatever it is, but most people would say, oh, but it's got the high-end flagship experience. Hey, Blue Line Tech, welcome in. I thought I sent you the link. I don't know if you got it. But don't worry. I'm working on a special PlayStation live stream with me and you, so we'll work on that after. But I think at the end of the day, you guys are all right. I'm not going to sit here and say anybody's wrong. But I think what it comes down to is, what is your bread and butter? Do you prefer the One UI, where Samsung has the skin? You get your Samsung perks, like, the scramble codec, proprietary technology with the Galaxy Bud Pluses, the Samsung Watch. Are you willing to take that, or are you willing to, I guess, take the $699 Pixel device, which is stock Android, but it gives you a 765G, but at the same time it gives you some nice display rate. It's got a better build. It's got wireless charging, regardless. So I agree. It's all going to come down to what your preference is. And with that, I think we're going to end the show. So for starters, I want to say first, thank you, everybody, for tuning in live. I appreciate all of the super chats tonight. Again, I'm really glad that you guys were able to stick through. If you've made it to the end of the video, hashtag T2K. I don't know if anybody's ever going to hashtag that, but I'll write it down. Hashtag T2K. We did it, 2,000 subs. Thank you all for being a part of this journey. I really appreciate all of you. I want to thank Alpha and Lawrence for joining in when they did. I always appreciate it whenever I can get more and more people on. We have a good interaction. We got a good fan base. So I'm really, really happy that you guys came on tonight. So thank you, guys. Also, lastly, I want to thank, of course, Kimon. Now, Kimon, you were the first one on here, and I brought you on for a reason. I do it with everybody, not just to introduce, not just to get to know, but because, like everyone says, this is really the dynamic duo. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming for you. You're just like me. The door is going to be open. So I'm really hoping that I was able to give you a sample or an idea of what to expect in the future. And I definitely hope that I've opened the doors for you, more possibilities, more viewers and subscribers. And again, that's his name, KTG Tech. I'll write it down here. Please subscribe to him, guys. He's just starting out just like me. So let's get him. If anybody's watching this on replay, let's get him to the starting lineup. What is your subscribe count right now, Kimon, if you could tell me?
I believe it's 26.
All right, I got a challenge. I've got a challenge. Let's get this kid up to 50 subs, and then I'll do something in return for you guys. Let's get him to 50 subs. I know it doesn't sound like much on the beginning, Kimon, but if we can get him to more, hell, even get him to 100. If we can get him to at least anything higher than 26, I will promise you guys I'll do something in return to repay the favor. So let's just get this kid up. Let's get him exposed. Let's get him going.
I don't know.
There you go.
Probably not focused, but is that your channel? Like, you can probably see it.
KTJ Tech.
Oh, KTJ Tech. Okay, my fault.
Oops. I'll pull it up here.
Thank you for having me on, Technoid.
I'm already subscribed to his channel.
No, thank you for coming on. Thank you for volunteering. And Kimon, I value you as a subscriber. I value everybody as a subscriber. So thank you all for taking the time out. Thank you all. Now I urge you all to transfer over to the SMT's live stream because we're not done. Tonight's a night of live streams. I'm heading over to the SMT's live stream. So everybody go over to the Speedball Tech. Tell them Technoid sent you. Thank you all so much for the support. Here's to 5,000 subs in the future. Here's to 3,000. I don't care. Let's celebrate tonight, guys. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you all over at Food Stream. Peace.
Peace.